doctor with social media?
Yes, sir.
You've already mentioned you were provided with Dr. Hines,
Right.
and when you provide have you conducted some type of evaluation of both defendants Davion Murphy and Isaiah Chance?
Yes, it did.
And did that involve you meeting with them by Zoom, I believe?
That's correct.
And is that a practice that you have done in other cases?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, by Florida statute, your evaluations of these two defendants is a prohibitive evaluation until they are convicted of capital murder. Is that correct? I can rephrase.
Okay.
Are you pre-trial or before the trial starts, do you have access to interviews or evaluations of defendants?
Go ahead. I do not.
Okay. And in this case, did your evaluations of them occur after the convictions occurred?
Yes, it did.
And is that by law?
That's correct.
Okay. So once Mr. Murphy and Mr. Chance were convicted of capital murder, first degree premeditated murder, you were then given access to be able to conduct evaluations?
That's correct.
And when did those occur?
They occurred this past Saturday.
All right. So that would have been the day after they were convicted?
That's correct.
And did that take place throughout the day?
Yes, it did.
So I'm going to start with your meeting. With Mr. Davion Murphy about his family and his upbringing, right?
Yes.
Did he give you a general description of his childhood and growing up?
Yes.
What did he tell you?
So he talked about his family growing up. He loved his family very much. He described his childhood. He was Christian. He attended church. He was very God-oriented. He was very close with his family. He enjoyed his childhood.
Did you have an opportunity in the last couple of days to watch the testimony of the client and also to review the testimony of Dr. Hardy? Your evaluation and your discussions with Mr. Murphy, Did you determine if there was any history of physical or emotional abuse?
He denied that to me. I specifically asked him about physical abuse and sexual abuse. He denied that.
Can you talk to us in a little more detail about your mental status exam and exactly what you did with the defendant?
Yes. So with my mental status examination, I go through and just kind of notice their appearance, and he was dressed in orange correctional attire. His motor beater was within limits. There was no
Thank
kind
y'all
of
for tapping
latency
in,
of
man. Malone
response.
TV News,
So it
man.
didn't take him a long time to answer. When I asked him a question, there wasn't a long pause between his response and
Appreciate the
my
love.
question.
Appreciate the love.
He was oriented to person. He was able to give me his date of birth, his age. He was oriented to the date, the day of the week, the season. He was aware that he was in the jail on Falkenberg Road, so he was oriented to where he was. He knew that Mother's Day was the following day, so he knew the upcoming holiday. So he was well oriented to what was going on and where he was at. I tested his concentration.
I got it on my
I gave
projector
him 3
screen
items to
showing this
remember
morning.
for
I
me.
got it on my projector
He
screen.
was able to register them and give them back to me right away, and after a period of distraction. So after I do all these other things I'm going to tell you about, I asked him about them again, and I had given him the words orange, tree, and flower. And at the
Y'all
end
make
of
sure
all
you
the other
share,
things I'm
like,
going to tell
share,
you
and
about,
subscribe to the channel,
in a
man.
second,
Subscribe to
he
my
gave me
YouTube.
back orange, plant, and flower. So very close. The middle one, instead of tree, he gave me plant, but he was very close with those. He was able to identify the current president, and then he couldn't recall Biden, but he said he was an old white dude, described him as an old white dude, quote unquote, and then knew that there was Trump and Obama and Bush again. So he was able to kind of name some presidents. He spelled the word world correctly forwards and in reverse, which is again a test of concentration, and a test of spelling. And so he knows his alphabet. I know that was an issue and a question. Another test of concentration, I had him do serial 3 subtraction 20. So I said, can you start at the number 20 and go backwards by taking away 3s? And he went right down, 17 formula information. I asked him, what's the function of just food? If you were to leave Jacksonville, which direction would you travel to go to Miami, New York? Got all of those correct. In a suit, clothes, a table and a chair. And that one he said, I don't know. And then he said to sit and eat on. So that one he gave me a very concrete answer and gave me kind of how they're used, as opposed to the response would be the correct response would be furniture, is how they're alike. And then
Make sure y'all like, subscribe to the channel, man.
which
Malone
is,
TV News, man.
what goes around comes around, and his response was karma, which is a correct response for that. So abstract thought he was pretty good on that, other than the one response was a concrete response. And then this is when I went back after answering all of those questions and asked him, do you recall those 3 words? So after I gave him that, all those distractions and all that, went through all those, that's when he was able to pretty well recall those 3 words. So he did pretty well on the mental status examination.
And how many times have you administered that examination?
That's the same one I used in my training at Yale University back in the 1990s.
So hundreds, thousands of times?
Absolutely.
What about just conducting a mental status examination? How many times have you done that with patients in a clinical setting?
Appreciate the love. Appreciate the love. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe to the channel, man.
Oh, many, many more times than that.
Malone TV
I mean, I
News
saw
in the
patients this
building.
morning on telehealth before I left the hotel.
At Meridian?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Did you detect in that evaluation and in your entire evaluation anything to suggest that Mr. Davion Murphy has any kind of impaired brain function?
Share the live. Share the live. Share the live.
I did not.
Have you ever dealt with patients or people in the forensic setting that do have brain damage or have suffered traumatic brain injuries?
I have, yes.
And so you would know how to detect that, or is that something you're trained to do?
Yes.
Have you covered everything that you've done with him in this evaluation, or is there more?
No, that's,
Pretty much it?
yes.
Okay. Now, in your, having conducted your mental status examination and your forensic evaluation of him and your review of the materials in this case, I want to ask you a few questions.
Yes, sir.
And specifically, you reviewed the facts of this case
Correct.
and witnessed and saw the video from the offense itself and how it executed the crime,
I did.
the murder.
I did.
I want to ask you, you did evaluation?
Yeah.
Did you, questions that you asked him,
Specifically, a lot of them were in the food industry. At different Burger King, IHOP, different places, which required a lot of kind of fast kind of thinking and fast doing. And he was there for significant periods of time, 6 months, different significant periods of time. And some of them overlapped where he was working at 2 to 3 different places at a time. At a time.
did he relate to you that at some point he had moved to Orlando from Jacksonville?
Yes, he was residing with a girlfriend in Orlando for a period of time.
And did he relate to you something about the expensive cost of living there?
Correct.
And did he inform you as to maintaining multiple jobs due to the cost of living?
Yes.
And you mentioned some of the duties that he did. As far as a couple of the places he worked at.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel, man. Malone TV News.
Yes.
And would that be a position that has a timed element to it?
Yes.
Is that something you consider?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. And these things that we're discussing, would those be considered adaptive?
Your next breakdown could be anytime, anywhere.
Get covered today and make endurance pay for it. It was like,
They are. Okay, now that's the current edition, correct?
Correct.
All right. Is that a statistical manual that you utilize frequently?
Yes.
And in the DSM-5 TR, are there not recommendations when assessing, as a psychiatrist, when you're assessing for cognitive function or cognitive ability to look at adaptive function?
Absolutely, it's a requirement. Correct.
All right. And it specifically spells out what that is or what they're describing, correct?
Yes, it does.
In assessing his cognitive functioning, did you also look at his behavior in this case, the facts of this case?
Yes, I did. I took all of that into consideration.
Would that include his behavior and actions he took before the crime occurred, as well as during the crime?
During and after, correct.
And in your investigation of this case, were you aware of the fact that the defendant was at large for approximately 7 months after the murder happened?
Yes, I was aware that he was at large for 7 months. Correct.
And was able to elude capture?
Yes.
Were you aware that the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office was actively pursuing?
Yes, I believe there were billboards and press releases, and yes, correct.
Did you take that into consideration?
I did, yes.
Would that have required an adaptive behavior?
Yes, I believe he actually commented on that, correct.
And were you aware that when he was finally arrested that he gave...
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
Did you review that interview?
I did.
And during the interview, did you take note of statements that he made about his culpability or whether he had been involved in the case?
Yes.
In that type of a situation, if a person is misleading or lying or being disingenuous, is that something that you would consider to be important to your analysis?
Yes.
And the types of lies that they're able to create, is that something that you would also consider to be significant?
Yes, absolutely. If they're able to manipulate facts and kind of incorporate them into their misstatements or fabrications, that's indicative that they're able to kind of fabricate or manipulate things. So cognitive comes into their cognitive function.
Does the DSM-5 speak to assessing for cognitive ability as far as utilizing IQ testing or standardized testing?
Yes, it's not just based on IQ testing, and you can't just use the IQ, use the number.
And is this an area of analysis where collateral information like these police reports and the behavior of the defendant during the commission or before the commission or after the commission of crime, where that is a significant factor that you can look at?
I think all of that is significant because it, again, plays into their adaptive functioning and demonstrates, adaptive functioning, just like work history, all of that comes into play. Yes, you've got to take all of the information that's available to you when trying to formulate an opinion.
Have you come to an opinion, Doctor, as to his level of cognitive functioning?
Yes.
And what is your opinion?
I think that he has a low average level of functioning.
So I guess they trying to say he's insane or something, or crazy. I don't think he's gonna get off that easy though. Davion Murphy.
When you were speaking with Mr. Murphy and conducting your mental status evaluation with him and your forensic evaluation with him, did you consider the issue of malingering or faking?
Yes, you always consider that when you're, especially when you're in the forensic setting and in the criminal.
Why is that?
So y'all like, share, and subscribe to the channel, man. Malone TV News.
You're always having to look for.
I am your host, CM the Goat 5, man.
We'll talk to you about a few things from Dr. Eisenstein's report.
Y'all share, like, to my channel. That's CM5. CMDAGOAT, the number 5 on YouTube.
When considering adaptive functioning, did you take note of the Texas Functional Living Scale that Dr. Eisenstein administered?
I did.
And some of the requests and some of the testing procedures in that test.
Yes.
So first, I'll talk to you about telling time on a clock. Was that one of the items that Mr. Murphy was requested to do?
It was.
And I guess he was asked, Dr. Einstein had noted he was unable to tell time on the clock, reversing the hour to minutes, and had difficulty drawing the correct time on the clock. Did you find that to be significant?
Not necessarily. And the clock that he drew on the mocha, because he was fairly close on the mocha. The small hand, he first put it on the 10 and then moved it to the 11, but the big hand was 10 minutes after. So the hands were fairly correct on the mocha, although he wasn't scored as being correct on there, but he actually did the time fairly correct on the mocha.
He was supposed to represent 10 after 11, I believe.
Correct.
Did you think it was significant that the proportions of the drawing as far as the placement of the numbers was a a truly significant item to his cognitive function.
Correct.
Under that Texas Functional Living Scale, he was also requested to do a money and calculation subscale.
Correct.
He was asked, well, he noted he was able to count change correctly, but was more inaccurate than not, and unable to provide correct change even with the dollar bills and coins placed in front of him. Did you find that to be significant?
I mean, I don't know, a lot of people don't use cash anymore, I don't know how often he uses cash and whether that's actually significant or not. But with regards to this, not necessarily, but, a lot of people don't use cash anymore. I rarely personally use it, honestly, because we have the debit cards now.
In the communication subscale, and I'm going to do this as a group, he was noted to have difficulty writing out a bank check and indicated he'd never written one
He's
out.
never written one, so he would have difficulty doing that if he's never done it before.
He was asked to address an envelope correctly and indicated, well, had problems doing that, apparently. Well, it says he was able to actually do that correctly.
Correct.
And then he did not know how to look up a person in a telephone book. Did you see issues with this?
Yeah, I did not, because we don't even have phone books anymore. I don't even know the last time that I saw a phone book.
The level that you have put him at or placed him at as far as cognitive functioning,
Yes, sir.
would that be consistent with this defendant at the age of 13 or 14 taking over management of the household?
It's possible, yes. Yeah, and doing the household functionings, he would be able to kind of keep that together, correct?
Okay. So if the jury has heard that he took over the household when his mother was ill and cooked for his siblings and managed cleaning and chores and tried to keep it at the same standard his mother kept it at, would that be inconsistent with your finding of cognitive level?
No.
When you met with Mr. Murphy, did he indicate to you that he was prescribed to take medication?
Yes.
And what medications?
He said that he was taking Boost Bar and Remeron.
And what are those medications and what are they used to treat?
Yes, so Boost Bar is a medication that's used for anxiety, and Remeron is an antidepressant.
And in fact, did you diagnose Mr. Murphy in your diagnosis? I'm kind of jumping ahead here. I know you have several diagnoses. Did you diagnose him with a condition called adjustment disorder?
I did.
And what is adjustment disorder?
So adjustment disorder is a disorder that individuals can have when they have a stressor and it's related to a stressor. So clearly he's got an ongoing stressor right now with regards to this significant legal case. And that can cause mood disturbance, conduct disturbance. So, but it's generally related to a stressor, whether it's relationship discord, a divorce, some problem with your children, but there's an identifiable stressor. And typically you expect the symptoms, you treat the symptoms as you would anything else. And you expect them to kind of resolve once the stressor is resolved. So he's being treated for that right now. His symptoms related to his stressor.
And you mentioned anxiety and depression with those two symptoms.
Yes.
Is that something that is commonly seen in the prison setting with individuals who are incarcerated in a jail setting?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And just simple depression or anxiety, is that something that is commonly seen with people who are incarcerated? Pending charges or in a case like this, possibly facing a sentence of death?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Facing any kind of sentence or, just being in jail in a correctional setting can be very stressful for individuals. Yes.
Now, you indicated that you did this evaluation, forensic evaluation, where you asked about his history. Did you discuss with him his use of substances over his lifetime?
Yes, I did.
And what did he tell you?
So he described to me significant substance use, specifically with regards to alcohol, beginning at the age of 14, and his use became very heavy at the age of 16, and then he was daily use by the time he was 27, 28, where he said that he was actually drinking a bottle to a bottle and a half of tequila on a daily basis at that age. Marijuana, again, daily use, every day, all day, quote unquote, is what he told me. Up to 14 grams per day is what he told me. From 14 to 28. I'm sorry, from 11 years of age to 28, all day, every day. And then the other one that he used all day, every day, quote unquote, beginning 18 to 28 was ecstasy, which is a hallucinogen. And he described using 9 to 10 pills a day, double and triple stacks, he said. He used cocaine one time in 2016, but he didn't like it, it made him paranoid. And then he used some opioids several times, but didn't like those either. 3 to 4 times he said that he didn't care for those either.
Now, you're asking him about his substance abuse. Is that something that is significant in your analysis and your evaluation of cognitive functioning?
Yes.
Why?
Well, because all of those substances will impair can impair your cognitive ability. Certainly if you're impaired on substances, that can cause you problems.
And he was indicating to you that he was using multiple substances when he would have been in high school.
Correct.
Have you come to any conclusions or opinions about his use of substance abuse and whether it relates to any type of disorder?
Yes, I diagnosed him with alcohol use disorder, cannabis use disorder, and hallucinogen use disorder.
Did you note in his history that there was some indications that he may have had ADHD when he was a child?
Yes, he was diagnosed with ADHD as a child, correct?
And as far as him as an adult now, have you come to any conclusions or opinions about ADHD and whether he still suffers from it?
I did not see any symptoms of ADHD at the present time.
Now, are you basing that on your contact with him on Saturday during this evaluation and on all the other information you have in this case?
All the other information that I have about him from the case, correct?
During your observations of the testimony of Dr. Eisenstein, Dr. Hardig, when you were watching a live feed of that, were you able at times to see the behavior of the defendant here in the courtroom?
I have been able to see that, correct?
Did you take that into consideration?
I have taken that into consideration, correct?
Was he able, or did he appear to be consulting with his attorneys?
Yes, he would, he was attentive, paying attention. He would consult with the attorney specifically when they come up and do the sidebars. He puts the headphones on, he listens attentively, pays attention to the sidebars. When she would come back to the table, he would chat with her, they would talk specifically. So he's paying attention, he's interacting with her. You know, and these are long days, lots of information, lots of stuff, and he's able to pay attention and interact and so there aren't symptoms of that right now.
Were you able to come to an opinion as to ADHD?
I said that he has a
That mean
history
you
of
know
ADHD,
kind of
was
shit,
diagnosed
boy.
as a child, but there aren't symptoms of
At
it
an early
at the
age.
present time. But I can't negate that he was diagnosed with that by someone else as a child. I didn't see him by.
Have you come to any other diagnoses of Mr. Murphy?
Yes,
And can you tell the jury about the other diagnosis?
I diagnosed him with antisocial personality disorder.
Can you tell the jury what that is, what the hallmarks of that disorder is?
Yeah, so antisocial personality disorder is an individual who basically shows little disregard for lawful behaviors, shows deceitfulness, lying, impulsivity, failure to plan, difficulties with aggressiveness, lack of remorse. They have to have had, qualified for a diagnosis of conduct disorder as a child, which he would have because he had, issues with fights and altercations as a child, truancy, stealing, theft issues as a child. So he did qualify for a diagnosis of conduct disorder as a child. And can go along together.
So I want to move on to defendant Isaiah Chance. Were you also provided materials in this case related to him and related to the same case file materials related to the investigation?
I was.
And did you assess all of the same information you were provided about Mr. Murphy, in this case Davion Murphy, as far as it applied to this defendant? And what I'm talking about specifically are the police reports, and all of the evidentiary type of information you were provided.
Yes.
And you indicated that with the deposition transcript of Dr. Hardig, and you've had an opportunity to watch her testimony here in court earlier this week.
Yes, I did.
And were you provided with documents and records that were provided to the state by Mr. Chance's attorney and your team?
Yes.
Did that include psychoeducational evaluations conducted in the public schools when he was a child?
Correct.
And diagnoses and testing that may have occurred?
Yes.
And you said you met with him on Saturday. Did you go through the same type of procedure as you did with Mr. Murphy?
I did.
How long was the meeting with Mr. Chance?
His was approximately 2 hours long.
And similar to Mr. Murphy, was his attorney, Mr. Petridis, present for that examination?
Yes, he was.
At some point in the latter part of the examination, did the defendant start having issues with cooperating?
He did. He put his head down on the table during my mental status examination, which I do at the very end, and became uncooperative. And then his attorney, and I was gonna terminate the evaluation at that point, and his attorney spoke with him and then became cooperative and he completed the evaluation.
So, did you conduct a forensic, interview or
Yes.
evaluation?
I did.
And did you ask him about his history as far as growing up, his educational history, other things?
Yes.
Okay. What did Mr. Chance tell you about his childhood?
Oh, he described his childhood as wonderful. He kind of glowed when he talked about it. Became very sentimental. He talked about playing board games and just he kind of glowed when he talked about his childhood.
Did he talk to you about the supportive relatives that may have been around him when he was growing up?
Yes, absolutely, he did.
And you indicated, well, let me ask you this real quick. Did you also talk to him about his work history?
I did.
And did you also go through the mental status examination with him?
Yes, I did.
Can you walk us through that, how that went with Mr. Chance?
Yes, so again, we had some difficulty there because again, that was where he kind of put his head down and became upset in the end. He, again, was dressed in orange correctional attire and normal motor behavior, normal speech, gave me his date of birth. And then when I got to, can you tell me the date today? I don't know. I said, well, what month is it? He said, May. What year is it? 2026. Or what's the date in May? I don't know. The middle of May, beginning of May, end of May, I don't know. What day of the week is it? I don't know. What season it is? No. Where are you right now? Hell. And then he put his head down on the table and said that's when he kind of
Got that right. You definitely is.
spoke to him again, and then he, participated again. He told me he was in Falkenberg this morning. He said that next month was June, and he had hoped to be out. We did the 3 words, orange, tree, and car. He repeated those back to me, and at the end, he said all 3 of them. He got all 3 of them correct at the end. He was able to identify the president and 2, 3, 4 of his predecessors. He was able to spell the word world correctly, forwards and backwards. He did the serial 3 subtractions, and he did like 3 or 4 calculations, and then he just counted. Once he got to 10, then he just went backwards, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I said, well, what are you doing? And he said, I don't know, you know. And then, and I said, well, what was it that I asked you to do? And he said, start at 20 and count backwards by 3, which is what the actual test is. It's not calculations. They think it's the calculations, but the actual test is, it's a concentration test. And do they remember the task at the end? So it's not actually, are they getting the math right? It's, do they remember what I asked them to do at the end of all of it? So he got that right. So he did miss the calculation when I asked him about the gas, and $40 he said he could buy gas. Then he knew that the stomach was to digest food. He got the directions correct from Jacksonville to Miami, New York, and Pelham. He described Martin Luther King.
You're reaching more audiences fast.
He said we're clothing, and then the table and chair, he said it's an item that is tangible. So again, a concrete answer. The correct answer again was furniture, but not as concrete as the other gentleman. And then when I asked him the proverb, what goes around comes around, he said karma's a bitch. So he got that correct. So he did fairly well as well on the mental status examination, although had some difficulties there because he was just grumpy at the end.
But you were able to complete the examination?
Yes.
So, in assessing his cognitive functioning, did you note his conversational style and maybe the words that he was utilizing?
I did.
And what was significant about that to you?
He has a very advanced vocabulary. He just, in the manner that he speaks, his vocabulary, I wrote down like several things that he said, because his vocabulary is very advanced, and it's not, I know, I watched the testimony yesterday, and it's not a way of saying, do you know what this word means? He uses the words appropriately in conversation. So it's very advanced. When I spoke to him about his family, a sentence he used was, my whole decorum was instilled by my granddad. I mean, that's not something that someone with borderline intellectual functioning, that's not how they talk. He said, I don't know how to articulate it, when he was trying to find words to say something to me. When I talked to him about his childhood, when I brought up his childhood, and I said he started glowing, he said, you're bringing up very sentimental topics for me. This is nostalgia. I mean, these are the words, and this is how he talked to me. So very advanced vocabulary.
That
He's
nigga
using
smart.
it appropriately when he's conversing.
Zay smart. You can tell the nigga smart. But the nigga was dumb as hell to do this shit.
He
Said
used the
that
word
shit.
unorthodox. He said, my charge is what I'm charged with is very unorthodox. He said, when he was talking about his rap videos online, he said, I look at the analytical dynamic breakdown of how many views I'm getting. He was trying to explain the wholeness of the videos and putting videos online and how you make money doing that. And he was explaining that all to me. When I asked him about his education, and I said, how did you get along with the teachers at school? And he said, well, that's difficult because there were a plethora of teachers. I had a plethora of teachers. And we talked about him and how he got along with the other kids at school. And he said, well, you know, I had this mental capacity, and he said, so I hung around with all the different kids, and he said, but I like to hang out with the nerds because I like the different complexity of the conversation with them. And he said at one point that he was so smart, he was sent to see a doctor at one point when he was younger. And he said, I was so smart, but my grades didn't equate with my intellectual abilities. And he said, I lacked interest, and when I lacked interest, I lacked performance, was the doctor's conclusion. So he didn't do as well in his grades because he wasn't interested, and that's what the doctor said.
Was there anything else about your conversations with him that stood out?
He was very pleasant, very engaging. I mean, he did very well until the end, and I think he just got really upset at the end and just kind of overwhelmed with it. It was more about, I think, his situation, and you know, this was the day after he was convicted. I saw him at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's very overwhelming.
In his work history, did Mr. Chance speak with you about things that he was passionate about doing or wanting to do?
Absolutely.
He had really strong interest in?
Yeah, absolutely. So he spoke a lot about his work history. He worked as a longshoreman in Jacksonville, and he loved that job. He wanted to be a merchant marine and go out on the water, but then when he started having children, he decided, you know, to stay as the longshoreman, and he loved that job. He worked with cars and moving cars around and doing different things there in the marina area, and he loved that job, and would have liked to go back to that job. He only left that job to go kind of do travel and get into the kind of the music industry when he did that. But he reminisced, and again, he kind of lights up when he talks about that, because it just really, you know, brought back memories from him, and yeah, he just loved that job.
That type of, I guess, behavior or desire or thought process, is that consistent with borderline intellectual functioning?
No.
And you indicated, I believe earlier, that you did receive the raw data from the testing that Dr. Harding conducted with Mr. James.
I did.
You reviewed that. Dr. Harding did not prepare a report for you to review, but you did review her deposition and her testimony. Have you arrived at an opinion as to his level of cognitive function?
Yes, I think he has average level of functioning.
Now, as far as the issue of ADHD and Dr. Harding's diagnosis of that, did you see evidence of that, or a diagnosis of that, I guess, by someone in the school system who was a child?
Right, I think he was diagnosed with that as well. There's no evidence of it at the present time in my evaluation or in anything that I saw. But again, I note that somebody diagnosed him with that as a child, so I have that as my history.
So are you familiar with the manifestation of ADHD in an adult his age?
Yes,
And you're familiar with the way that that's going to show itself or manifest?
yes.
Did you see any of that in the defendant's behavior or in any of these records?
I didn't see it in the records or in anything that I've observed.
I mean, young nigga had a promising future probably in the music industry, man, if he had a left that shit alone, but them nigga was going back and forth with God doing Julio, Foolio. I think he was one of the main ones.
Going back to your review
allegedly,
of collateral information, in this case, the police reports, law
Young and
enforcement
Ace.
reports. In assessing the cognitive functioning of these two defendants,
It's crazy.
looking at their
All that
actions
damn
and
talent
behavior
going to waste.
before the homicide occurred, their travel here to Tampa, their behavior throughout that evening. And
So
throughout
y'all
the morning,
subscribe to the
and
channel, man.
before.
Malone TV
The actual
News, man.
commission of the murder itself.
Make sure you like,
their
share, and
actions
subscribe
after
to the
fact. Did you
channel.
take that into account?
I am your host.
Evaluation. For both of them.
CM the goat 5. That's
Did you
CM
see anything
DAGOAT
from that evidence
the number
from either
5
Chance,
on
Mr.
YouTube.
Chance or Mr. Davion Murphy to suggest that they have borderline intellectual functioning or brain damage?
I did not.
Did you see did you see as far as intentionality and purpose and goal-driven behavior, did you see that in that evidence?
Yes,
Okay, and was that significant to you?
yes.
Can I have a moment, Your Honor? Thank you, Your Honor, I'll pass it on.
To me?
Good morning.
So you spent approximately, what was it, 80 minutes with Davion Murphy?
Yes,
And that was an evaluation or interview with him that you have done over Zoom?
correct.
So you could see him from the chest up.
That's correct.
He had earphones on.
Yes.
Were you able to watch his manner of his gait, his walking, his movements?
No, he was seated at the table.
And let's just go back to your training for a moment. Did your training include the administration and analysis of psychological testing?
No, I'm not a psychologist, I'm a psychiatrist.
And how was it that you determined the IQ of Davion Murphy?
I did not determine the IQ of Davion Murphy.
And it indicated that he was low average level of functioning, I think you said?
Correct.
What did you mean by that?
By his
Score.
average is 100.
And how do you determine if someone has brain damage?
You can do neurological testing, you can do scans.
Did you do any of those things?
No, ma'am.
And do you think 80 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes without testing is enough to determine whether someone's brain is functioning?
I had the advantage of looking at the other testing that was already done and looking at all of the other information that I reviewed, correct. So that period of time was just my interview with them. That doesn't encompass all of the other things that I had access to.
Can you tell us how his work history was indicative of fast thinking?
Because he was working in fast food environments where you have to be fast thinking.
So Burger King, 4 to 6 months? and
Yes, ma'am.
McDonald's,
Correct. IHOP.
IHOP is a dishwasher?
Yes, ma'am.
That would be required to have fast thinking to work as a dishwasher?
He worked there for a period of time, correct?
I don't know, did he?
That's what he told me, correct?
I don't know. Did he?
I'm saying correct, yes.
Oh, correct, okay. And then Steak and Shake,
Yes?
and you consider those to be fast thinking
Yes.
jobs? Okay. And isn't it important to figure out money calculations and how to count money, even if that's not what people are using on a daily basis today?
It can be.
You had indicated that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you no longer believe, even though Davion Murphy was diagnosed with ADHD, that he no longer suffers from that simply because while you were watching this trial, streaming online, that he was able to talk to me and discuss with me and things of that nature. He was able to concentrate, right?
it's, my opinion is not based solely on that. It's based on my years of training, expertise, and observations of everything and all of the information that I reviewed.
And the total amount of time that you spent.
So
with
we're gonna end it
Julio
right here
is an hour and
because it's
20
getting close to
minutes.
lunchtime. And probably
Go ahead.
resume
That's
back
the amount of time that I interviewed him, but I've watched
this afternoon.
numerous
Make sure
different
y'all
videos.
like,
I
share, and
watched his
subscribe to the
interviews
channel,
with
man.
police. I
Malone
watched,
TV News, man.
hours and hours and hours of this trial.
Did you meet with him on a one-on-one setting in person at all?
No, ma'am, I met with him on Zoom as we discussed.